My mom never liked any of my friends, except for one, but she completely agreed with Camilla. I can't say that it bothered me much, but life became a little easier when my ears stopped ringing. The only reason Mom liked Camilla was because she worked in the healthcare industry, or rather as a nurse. And the irony of all this was that the girl my mom thought was the best for me turned out to be ordinary trash. We lived together for about a year, and everything was fine. We even registered our marriage and talked about our future. But her job? It was a real source of stress for me. More precisely, her schedule. She worked in the emergency room of the gynecological department, and there were many days when her day shift was replaced by a night shift or vice versa, and all because of a shortage of staff. Sometimes she was called away for weekends or vacations, which meant that we could never really plan anything. It was driving me crazy. And yes, it led to quarrels. Camilla didn't want to leave her job. She was happy with her job. I've always wanted to become a doctor, I told her, but she snapped. You're not a doctor. Oh, of course I was wrong. But to be honest, I just wanted to see her more often, not just at work. She was either cleaning at home or passed out after her shift. But I loved her anyway and tried to make life easier for her at home. I've been obsessed with motorcycles since I was a kid. In the end, I got my way and bought one for myself. Camilla didn't mind either. I always drove my car carefully. I never exceeded the speed limit in the city. But, of course, accidents happen, and I got into one of them myself. I was riding my green motorcycle when, bang, this elderly man in a Chevrolet crashed right into me at the intersection. It wasn't really my fault. Maybe I was speeding a little bit, but not that much. However, it didn't change the fact that I was injured. Broken bones, dislocations. The thought of fixing it was more frightening than the accident itself. Anyway, they got me into a car quickly and brought me to the hospital. Thankfully, it was the one where Camilla worked. The break turned out to be pretty serious, so I needed surgery and a long recovery. That meant I'd be stuck in the hospital for a while. To be honest, it kind of worked out in my favor. Camilla had a day off, but she still came to see me, holding back tears the whole time. She cursed both my motorcycle and the old man who'd hit me. Come on, relax. I tried to calm her down. Honestly, after the anesthesia, I wasn't feeling great either. Well, how can I relax? Don't you get it? You might need another surgery and recovery. Oh, it's a nightmare. The main thing is I'm alive, I said, trying to stay positive. Is that all you care about? Yeah, you're right, I agreed. She gave me a quick kiss and looked at the monitors. Well, at least you ended up here. I'll make sure everything's taken care of. And she did. She made sure I got a private paid room and all the perks. I didn't love being alone, though. It got pretty boring. They didn't check on me much, so I spent most of my time listening to the nurses' gossip. Honestly, it was more interesting than I thought it would be. Right across from my room, the nurses and orderlies seemed to love talking about the patients and their colleagues. There were some funny stories, but mostly it was just them picking apart other people's lives. I couldn't stand it, but what could I do? I didn't have a choice. One nurse, in particular, was the talk of the hospital. Every free moment, she'd go off with this guy, Lincoln. They were an obvious couple, and everyone in the department hated her. It was fascinating to watch the tension and try to figure out what made everyone so angry. Turns out, the girl worked in a different department. Later, I found out Lincoln was the head of traumatology. He was this well-respected, honorary doctor, married with 3 kids, living the dream, huh? No, but have you seen that bitch? I had the conversation start up again as I tried to nap after lunch. She was all over him again. It's disgusting. Well, he doesn't really seem to mind, the second voice chuckled. Yeah, what guy wouldn't like having his legs spread wide open at every meeting? Footsteps echoed down the hall, and the gossip stopped suddenly. A moment later, Camilla popped into my room. She brought me mashed potatoes and cutlets. I told you not to, I said, trying to sit up a little in bed. Yeah, especially since I already ate lunch. Really? With this? Yep, it's perfectly fine, she said with a smile. We chatted for a bit, and she left. Not long after, a nurse came in. She was smiling when she spoke. Are you married? What is it? She asked, and her smile faltered. She looked a little puzzled and shook her head, and then hurried to work. It was a strange reaction, but on the other hand, everyone here seemed a little out of their mind. That night, I overheard something interesting. Can you believe it? This guy's lying here in pain. No way. Yeah, the one in the private room with the fracture from the accident. Poor guy. While he's stuck in agony on that stretcher, she's off fooling around with another guy in the next room. Bad luck for him, huh? Yeah, you get it. And you know what kind of setup she arranged for him? It was beyond disgusting. I was sick of the gossip. It turned out that all these rumors were about the one I married. Just hearing about it made my stomach turn. The next day, I couldn't take it anymore. I threw the lunch she brought me right in her face. I never want to see you again, I said, slow and deliberate, as the sauce splattered all over her uniform. What's wrong with you? Seriously. You're sleeping with some doctor, and you thought I wouldn't find out. I added, my voice shaking with anger. What's this nonsense? What kind of doctor? Lincoln. Her face went white as a sheet, and she slowly sank down onto the table. Asher, get out, she whispered, her voice breaking. I couldn't stand up. I was too furious. Otherwise, I would have thrown her out of the room myself. She left without a word, her head down. I spent 2 more weeks in the hospital, lying under the weight of the nurses' whispers and the pity in their eyes. From their chatter, I learned that Camilla was fired after the rumors reached her superiors. Her lover's reputation also began to crumble. She secretly left the keys to our apartment on the bed in my room. I didn't seem to notice the divorce. Everything went too smoothly. After that, I didn't see her anymore. And you know what? I felt almost relieved. I heard that she couldn't find work anywhere in her field after that. Rumors spread fast in that place, and no one wanted to hire her anymore.